I'm Dr. Chris Ho. I'm back again. The case is solved? Yes, but we're not done. Smart detectives and smart English learners always take the time and a moment to reflect, to review, to revise. So, in this final episode, we will go over the mystery, review the mystery, and see what we have learned. But also, we'll learn two new language tips here. And we'll revisit, go back and revise three powerful words from the story, like clue, evidence, and motive. These words come from detective work, but you'll see how to use them in everyday English conversation too. Let's wrap up the case. Detective Lee's investigation began with a single dusty footprint in the museum, size 6, marked with 3 tiny stars. That small clue led to a scratched button, pulled off in a hurry, and a strand of red thread. Then came a cracked vial of jasmine perfume and a receipt from the stall 12 at Moonlight Market. Remember that? The seller remembered a woman in a red scarf and black gloves, and a bus ticket dropped at the stall and revealed her next move, which was to River Bridge. In the final episode, Detective Lee met Miss Vega at the bus stop and found the missing painting in her bag. Her motive? To pay for her art school. Like a mystery, language becomes clearer when you connect the details piece by piece. So, two new things today. Before we review our final three words, here are two fresh English tips to take with you. Observation language. Detectives notice things. So do good speakers, good students like yourself. So instead of saying, I think she was nervous, try it another way. She seemed nervous. She kept looking at the floor. This is more precise because you not only tell me that she's nervous, she looked nervous, she seemed nervous, but you also tell me why you think that. She kept looking at the floor. So she seemed nervous because she kept looking at the floor. The next clue in our language usage is about time. Remember, Detective Lee said only 15 minutes before the alarm. That's a time anchor, great for writing or speaking clearly. You can use it in your daily life. We arrived just minutes before the train left. I arrived at work just before you did. Your mother called minutes after you left, so you just missed her. So this helps your English feel more structured, more natural, and more precise. Now let's go back and revisit three words we first saw in this mystery, and we'll tie it all together because these words are all used in detective stories, but also powerful in daily speech. 1. Clue. A clue is a helpful piece of information that reveals something hidden. So in the story, you saw a few clues. The stars, the 3 stars on the shoe, were a clue, and that matched the scratch button. The button was another clue. But in daily life, how are you going to use this word? I heard music. There was music from the house. That was a clue that they were home. That smile he gave me. is a clue that something is fishy, something is funny, something is just not right. It gave me a clue that something was wrong. Or you can say, I have no clue what this word means. This is a very common expression. You can use this. Whenever you don't know the meaning of a word in English, you can tell your English friends, sorry, I have no clue. I don't know what this word means. I have no clue. Can you please explain? Yep. Evidence. Something that supports a belief or proves it's true. Evidence. So in the story, there were a few evidence. The perfume receipt was evidence that Miss Vega had visited stall 12. So that was evidence. That was proof that tells Detective Lee that Miss Vega had visited stall 12 at Moonlight Market. In day-to-day conversation, you could say this. Her tired face was evidence she'd been working very late. So it shows in her tired face was evidence, was proof that she was working late for many days. Another example. All the food are gone. That's evidence that the party was a success. They ate all the food. Everybody enjoyed the food. So it's all gone. And that's evidence. That's proof that the party was a success. The third example. Is there any evidence that he actually sent the email? How do you know? Is there any evidence that he sent? Did you receive it? Maybe he didn't send it. What evidence do you have? What proof do you have? What supports your belief? The third word, motive. It's a very high-powered word. So motive, the reason someone does something. What's her motive? So in the story, Miss Vega's motive, her reason for stealing was to pay her art school fees. She didn't have enough money, so she stole the painting to sell later on. So her motive, her reason for stealing was to get money for her art school fees. How to use this in your daily language? Motive is your reason. So you could say, my motive for joining this course is to improve my English. The reason I joined this course is to improve my English. You could use the word motive. My motive to join is to improve my English. His motive for switching jobs, his reason for switching jobs was a better work-life balance. But most people switch jobs because they get a better pay. So his motive for switching jobs was that this new job paid a lot better. Another good example. We all have motives. We all have our reasons behind what we do. So what we do, we have reasons. It may not be open, it may not be clear, but we have our motives. They aren't always obvious. They aren't always clear. We all have motives. Quick review. Let's check up. Let's see what you remember. Question 1. What was Miss Vega's motive for stealing the painting? Give you a second. What was Miss Vega's motive for stealing the painting? The motive was to pay for her art school fees. Name 2 clues Detective Lee used to solve the case. 2 clues. There were many, just 2. So these were the footprint, the scratch button, the red thread from the red jacket, the the perfume, mm, the perfume vial, which gave the jasmine smell, the receipt, the bus ticket, and the scarf. Well done, detective. You're a real detective. You've followed the mystery, learned vocabulary words like vial, receipt, stall, ticket, showdown, clue, motive, and more. And now you know how detective style English works in real life. But we also use these words in everyday life. And if this has helped, give it a like, support my channel, and tell me, engage with me, tell me in your comments what you think of this style of English learning. And watch out for the next case. I'll see you there.